In today's session, we are supposed to study about the torque slip characteristics of the three-phase induction motor, and we will solve some numericals which will be related with the torque and slip. So here, these are the contents which we are supposed to study in the today's session. In previous session, we have seen about the three-phase induction motor, the construction of three-phase induction motor. Then we have seen about there are two types of induction motor, single phase and three phase. But in our syllabus, we are supposed to study only about the three phase induction motor. So we can give three phase AC supply. We can give in the two ways. These are nothing but we can give that AC supply in the star or the delta connection. Then we have seen about there are two different types of the three-phase induction motor. These are nothing but slip ring induction motor and the squirrel cage. Then we have seen the differences between these. If we will require higher starting torque, at that time we can use slip ring. But if you see the construction for slip ring, it will be somewhat complex because here we are supposed to use slip ring, additional we are supposed to use brushes. But when we are supposed to use squirrel cage, at that time there will be starting torque value will be less. But its construction, if you compare with the slip ring induction motor, its construction will be simple. Is there any issue? Okay. Then we have seen about the rotating magnetic field. It means what? When we are giving the three-phase supply, that will be, we are using the phase sequence RYB, the standard phase sequence to rotate the induction motor in the clockwise directions. We guys are using RYB phase sequence. And here, instead of single phase, we are using the three-phase supply. That's why we are supposed to use three-phase supply that we can give in the star or the delta connections, and we are using the sequence RYB. And if we are supposed to reverse the direction of rotation of that three-phase induction motor, we are supposed to change the position of only adjacent two phases. We are supposed to put one phase as it is, and only we will change the position of two phases. We can change RY, or we can change YB, or we can change B and R adjacent to, and we will keep one as it is. Then we have seen if we are supposed to reverse the directions, we can change the adjacent to phases. We are changing the position of these. Then we have seen the torque equations for the three-phase induction motor. How we will get what we are saying? If we are using the three-phase induction motor, at that time we are saying torque produced by the three-phase induction motor will depend on mainly three factors. These are nothing but it will depend on the magnitude of rotor current. It is nothing but the armature current. We are taking that current as a I2, or we can say IA. 2, if we are using suffix, that will be 2. That is nothing but for the rotor. And if we are using suffix 1, that will be the stator. So here we are saying torque will depend on mainly three factors. These are nothing but the first factor will be the magnitude of the rotor current. So here we can take that current as a I2. And torque we are denoting by the letter capital T, or we can write letter toe. Toe means what? One sleeping line. Then we are taking inverted J. We are saying that symbol as a torque. Then what we are saying? Torque will again, it will depend on the flux. It is nothing but we are denoting by the letter phi. So we can say torque will depend on the flux which interact with the rotor of the three-phase induction motor. Because we have seen Faraday's law in the DC motor and in AC motor. When there is a concept of inductor, when we are using the winding, at that time, conductor will cut by the magnetic field, and due to which there will be induction of the fluxes. So we are saying torque will depend on rotor current, torque will depend on these fluxes which are interacted with the armature, or which are interacted with the rotor. Then we are saying it will depend on the power factor of rotor. And here, as we are using the three phases, we will get the power factor that we are taking as a cos theta for R sequence, R phase. If we are talking about the Y phase, we are supposed to take cos omega t minus 120. For B, we can take cos omega t minus 240 because there will be 240 phase difference between R and B. We have seen these equations. So what we are saying here, now we are supposed to study about the torque and slip relationship, their characteristics. So what we are saying, torque is proportional. How? It will be directly proportional with the I2. It will be directly proportional with the fluxes. These are created by the, these flux are created by the rotor, and how these are responsible to generate the inducing EMF. So here we are saying torque will directly proportional with phi also, and torque will directly proportional with the power factor. We are taking power factor as a cos theta 2. Then we have seen the torque equations. What we are getting here, we will get torque equal to S into E2 square. E2 is nothing but voltage of the rotor. 2 is for rotor. Into R2, resistance of rotor, upon R2 square, resistance of rotor, plus S. S is nothing but slip, into X2 square. X2 is the reactance of the rotor, because there is a concept of inductor as well as there is a concept of resistance. That's why instead of inductance, instead of impedance, we are taking here reactance, which will be given us the impedance of resistance as well as the inductor. Then it will be, we can see here, torque is directly proportional with S, because we are having the equations T equal to K into S into E2 square upon R2 square plus S X2 square. It means what? Here we can see torque will be proportional with the slip. But when we are studying about the torque equation, we are seeing torque will inversely proportional with R2 square plus S X2 square. It means what? S का जो value है slip का, it is coming in denominator also. So here we can see the torque slip characteristics. Okay. So here, what we are saying about the curve which will drawn between the torque and slip from start. What we are saying, at the start we are saying there will be no rotating speed, and how slip and rotating speed are interconnected. We are having the formula slip equal to ns minus n upon ns. We are having that formula. We have already seen the torque and the slip equations. Slip equation क्या आ रहा है हमारे पास? We are getting S equal to ns minus n upon ns. But initially what we are saying? Initially we are saying there is no rotor speed. And rotor speed, how we are denoting? We are denoting by letter n. So what we are saying? Rotation per minute, that is the capital N. We are saying that value is 0 at the start. So here you will get equation S equal to ns minus n upon ns. n का वैल्यू 0 है, तो हमारा इक्वेशन क्या हो जाएगा? You will get S equal to ns upon ns. It means what? You will get S equal to 1. So we can say the curve which will drawn from the torque and slip from start. From start we will have slip value equal to 1, because we are having S equal to ns minus n upon ns. We are taking startingly capital N equal to 0. That's why you will get S equal to ns upon ns. So you can take S equal to 1, slip equal to 1 at start, to its synchronous speed, where you will get S equal to 0, because when your motor will start at that time, your speed will increase. Speed का value बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाएगा. Which speed? The capital N, the rotor speed, as compared to the ns. So you will get its synchronous speed equal to 0. These characteristics, the graph which we can draw the curve between slip value 1 equal to slip value 0, we can call that graph, that curve, as a torque slip characteristics. So here firstly we are supposed to take S equal to 1, and at the end we are supposed to take synchronous speed that will be equal to 0. So here we are having the torque equations. How we are having the torque equations? We are taking here input voltage as a constant. C is nothing but we are taking as a constant. So we are saying torque equal to K S E2 square R2 upon R2 square S X2 square. So we can say torque is directly proportional. That's why we are taking here constant K sign. तुम ये इक्वेशन ऐसे लिख सकते हो या यू कैन राइट T इक्वल टू, यहाँ अल्फा की जगह इक्वालिटी साइन, but if you are changing that proportionality sign into equality, you are supposed to take one proportionality constant. And in our syllabus when we are studying about the DC AC motor, at that time we are taking constant term as a capital K. You are taking K as a constant, so you can take here K as a constant. You can write T equal to K into the same equation as it is. So here what we are saying, now we are supposed to study about the torque slip characteristics. We are getting the torque equation. How we are getting? We are saying torque is directly proportional with the, yes, because we are having the equation torque where we will get torque is directly proportional with the S. But if you see here, we are having the S value in the denominator also. It means what? It will be inversely proportional with the value of torque. That's why here we are supposed to study about the torque and slip characteristics. Just wait for a minute. Back to our screen. What we are saying here, we are supposed to study about the torque and slip characteristics. So here you can say the starting torque is nothing but it is the torque which we are produced by using the induction motor when it will start. And at start, what we are saying, at start we are saying there will be no speed. There will be no speed of the rotor. So you can take S equal to, we are having the formula N minus Ns upon Ns. We are saying N equal to 0. So you will get S equal to Ns upon Ns. So you will get equal to 1. So we can say starting torque is the torque which will be produced by induction motor when it is started, and at the start we are taking rotor speed capital N equal to 0. So we will get slip value that will be equal to 1. That will be equal to 1 when we are taking capital N equal to 0. And when we are taking N equal to Ns, it means what? We are taking here rotor speed that will be equal to the Ns. At that time you will get S equal to 0. So now the equation of starting torque we will get easily by putting the S equal to 1 in the equation of torque. And our equation of torque is T equal to S into K into E2 square R2 upon R2 square S X2 square. So if you put these things, you will get the value of torque when you are having the S equal to 1. At that time, you can see here we are saying point B as a starting torque. And if you see this point, we are saying here when we are taking S equal to 0. At that time, you will get the value that we are saying as a full load torque, because here we are considering our rotor will be rotated and it will have maximum speed. Its speed will become equal to Ns. So here when we are talking about the torque slip characteristics, at start at point C there is a starting torque. You will get at point at point C nahi, at point B you will get the value of a starting torque. So we can say that torque as a TST, it is nothing but the starting torque. And at point C we are saying that torque as a full load torque. But if you see at the point A, we will get the torque that will be maximum. So we can say at point so here, when we are saying at point A, we will get the value of torque that will be maximum. And after that, that torque will go to reduce. That torque will go to reduce. So here we are saying that region A to B as a unstable region. Because if you see here, the value of torque is going to decrease. But up to point C to A, here you will get the value of torque that will be increases. So we can say here at point C and A, we will get the value of torque will increases. That's why we are calling the region from O to A as a stable region. And at the point A, we will get the value of torque that will be maximum. So we are saying that torque as a maximum torque. So here, huh, we are saying torque slip characteristics is divided into three regions. These are nothing but from point O to point A. We are getting the region that there the value of torque increases with the value of slip. So we are saying that region as a stable region. But when we are saying the value of torque is decreasing with increase in a slip, when we will get the value S equal to Sm, exactly, the maximum slip. At that time, we are getting the maximum torque. But if the value of S is going increase, at that time, the value of torque is going to decrease. That's why we are calling that region as an unstable region. So here we are saying if we are getting the value of torque maximum, we are saying that region as a normal region. So firstly, we will see about the region AB, which is nothing but from O to A, where we will get the value of S equal to 0. S is very small, so we can neglect the value of S x2 square because we are saying S value is very small, 0, or it is very less. So we can neglect that value. So our equation of torque will become, we are neglecting the value of S and x2 square. So we will get the value of torque equal to S R2 upon R2 square. So here we are saying R2 as a constant. So directly we can say torque is directly proportional with S because we are taking R2 as a constant. तो सेम इक्वेशन सेम R2 का वैल्यू ऊपर और नीचे लिख रहे हो. So what we can say, we will get the value constant, so it will become 1. So we can say torque is directly proportional to the yes when there is a stable region from point O to from point A, or you can say from the region A to B, because here we are having the value of torque that will be proportional with the value of slip. So in this region, if the value of load increases, torque will go increases with increase in the value of slip. So we can say we will get here characteristics approximately as a linear line, or we can say that will be the slope, because here if we are taking from the origin as a straight line, we can say it is the slope. So we can take the characteristics is approximated by a straight line, or we can say it is the slope. So here when we are supposed to study the value of sleep will going increasing, if the value of sleep will becoming n m s equal to 1, at that time we are saying that region from B to C as an unstable region. So when the value of S increases further over the Sm, because if you are having the S equal to Sm, at that time you will get the value of torque maximum. But if S will become higher than Sm, we are saying that region as a unstable region, because here we are having the value of S will be high, it will be between Sm and a n, greater than Sm, lower than 1. At that time we can neglect the value of R2 square as compared to the S2 H2 square. If you see in stable region, what हमने क्या किया था, in stable region we have neglected S2 H2, and here we are neglecting R2. Here we are considering S2 X2. It means what? Here we can say the torque will be inversely proportional with S, because if you see we are having the torque equation. How? What we are having? If we are having the torque equation which will be firstly directly proportional with S and it will be inversely proportional with S. In first case, in stable region, we are considering Sx2 as 0. So we are saying torque will directly proportional with this S. And in unstable region from B to C, what we are saying? We are saying here the value of R2 we can neglect. Value of R2 we can neglect, and we are saying here we are supposed to consider Sx2 in addition. At that time, what we can see, if we are neglecting R2, this will neglected, and our equation will become torque equal to 1 upon S x2. So what we can say here, if you are taking reactance as a constant, you will see torque will inversely proportional with the S. So we can say here in the unstable region, you will get torque will inversely proportional with S if you are taking reactance of the rotor as a constant. So in this region, if the value of load increases, the value of S will increase. And here as value of S increases, value of torque increase हो रहा था. But here the value of torque will go to decrease, because here the value of torque is inversely proportional with the slip. So we can say here we will get the characteristics that will approximately look like a hyperbola. If you see this, we are saying in mathematics, when we I don't know about your mathematics syllabus, but if you see in the conic section, the parabola, hyperbola, ellipse, in these things, when we will see here the value of torque will decreases. How it will decreasing? It will decreasing like a exponent, exponentially. So we can say these as a hyperbola characteristics. So we can say these characteristics is approximately look like a rectangular hyperbola. So here, if we are increasing the value of load and if we are decreasing the speed of rotor, S will go to increase, which will lead to motor standstill condition. Hence, their motor will not be operated at any point in this region. So here we are saying about the torque slip characteristics. It will go into the three regions. These are nothing but we have seen about stable, we have seen about the unstable. Now we are supposed to study about the A to D. A to D. At that time, we are saying that as a normal region. So here, low slip, the motor can continuously operated in that region. At that time, you can say about the motor is rotating in the normal region. So here we are saying we will have the value of torque. That will be starting torque, that will be, you can see here, the starting torque, the maximum torque, and the full load torque. So we are having the torque equations for starting torque, where you will get the starting torque if your S value, S is nothing but slip, equal to 1. When we are taking starting speed of the rotor is 0, when you will get S equal to torque, S equal to 1, at that time you are saying motor will rotate and you will get the value of torque. That torque we are saying as a starting torque. And when you will get S equal to maximum slip, S equal to maximum slip, at that time that torque we are saying as a maximum torque. And when we are having the value of load is maximum full load, in the characteristics the torque which we are corresponding to the point B is called as a full load torque, when if you see the value of full load torque will be less than the maximum torque. When we are supposed to study about the torque slip characteristics, at that time there are introduction of the losses. These losses are nothing but magnetic loss, mechanical loss, and electrical losses. If you see electrical loss, this will depend on the value of impedance, resistance. So we can say that loss as a variable loss. But magnetic and the mechanical losses, this will be the constant. These losses will get introduced in the induction motor. So we can see about magnetic loss. This loss will be created because of core losses or the iron losses, because here we are using the winding. So here there will be sometime core loss or the iron losses can be appeared, and these losses will occur in the stator as well as in the rotor, because in stator also we are using the windings, we are using the magnets. So there will be the magnetic losses because of the there is a winding, and because of there is a rotating magnetic field. If you see about the electrical losses, we can say these losses as a eddy current loss or the hysteresis loss. Eddy current means was if there is any error in the voltage supply, in the power supply, if you are not doing grounding properly, at that time there will some amount of current flow That current we are saying as a eddy current loss. So we can say there will be the eddy current loss occur or the hysteresis loss. Hysteresis loss is nothing but which will occur due to the alternating change in the magnetic field in the stator core. And we can minimize that hysteresis loss by selecting high grade silicon steel instead of that core, iron core. If you use the silicon steel, it will minimize that hysteresis loss by using the silicon material. And here we are saying eddy current loss again we will get, because if you are saying flow of eddy current through the body of stator, it means what? If you are not doing if you are not doing grounding exactly the proper winding, at that time if there is current will flow, we can say that current as a eddy current loss. And we can minimize that loss by using the laminated construction of the stator core. Again, if you see two losses that will depend on the supply frequency. F stator that will be equal to F supply. It means what? Here the value of stator frequency will depend on the supply voltage frequency. Hence, iron loss for the stator is more. And if F rotor will be less than that F supply, we can say iron losses are also very small, so we can neglect that iron losses. Mechanical losses, these losses will be because of frictional losses and the windage losses. These are less as compared to the speed drop, so we can neglect that loss also. And we can say the constant loss will be addition, summation of the iron loss and the mechanical loss. And electrical losses we will get at the stator as well as at the rotor due to the resistance of the stator and the rotor winding. So we can take rotor copper loss that will be equal to 3I2 square R2. Can anyone tell me why we have used here 3? Because we are having the formula V into I, or you can write I square R. 2 is, I am writing here 2 for the rotor. So I2 square means current of rotor and R2 means resistance of rotor. But here we are using the 3 because we are here supposed to study about the 3-phase induction motor. So we are giving here 3-phase supply. So here we are taking 3 into I2 square R2. We can call that as a rotor copper loss. Now we are supposed to study about the power flow diagram. So when we are giving the 3-phase AC supply, we will give that input to the stator winding. At that time, rotor, we are saying it will rotate and we are connecting the load to the rotor. It will also get rotated. But here we will get the losses. These losses we will get stator copper loss and the stator core loss at the stator winding. We will get copper loss at the rotor also. And we will get the mechanical power that will get developed at the shaft. So here we can say we will get the, when we are using the induction motor, at that time there will be the power loss that will be in the form of stator loss, that will be in the form of rotor loss, that will be in the form of mechanical power. So here when we are giving the 3-phase supply, that time we can take input power equal to, this is the standard formula. This is a bit complicated to explain, but it is the standard formula. Here we are using the square root of 3 because here we are supposed to calculate 3-phase supply. And here we are taking that 3-phase supply. That's why we are taking its value as a square root of 3 VLIL. If you will see a star and delta connection, at that time you will get, how we will get here square root of 3. So here we are saying when we are supposed to use induction motor, at that time we are converting electrical energy into a mechanical power. But there is some losses. So here also we are supposed to study about the power equation, which we have seen in the डीसी मोटर में क्या बोलते थे हम, मैकेनिकल पावर पीएम इक्वल टू व्हाट वी हैव सीन देयर EP into IA, that is nothing but back EMF into a rotor current. IA is nothing but armature current. So here what we are saying, When we are supposed to study about three-phase induction motor, at that time you will get input power. That will be square root of 3 VL IL cos phi. Phi is nothing but the flux. So here we are saying losses will occur in the stator and losses will occur in the copper also. Copper is nothing but we are taking as a rotor. So here when losses will go to the stator losses, remaining power will get transferred to the rotor. And if you see rotor power, we are denoting by the P2. So some power will go to the stator. What we are taking? We can take input power equal to rotor power plus the stator loss. So we can reconvert that equation in the rotor. How? P2 equal to P in minus PSL. P in is nothing but total input power. It will get divided into. कैसे divide हो रहा है? Some part rotor को जा रहा है, some part जा रहा है the stator loss. So we can write this equation. So here, what we are saying, when we are using the three-phase induction motor, there will be rotor copper loss. So normally rotor iron loss are very small, so we can neglect as well. And remaining power we are saying as a mechanical power. So we can take that power as a 3I2 square R2. Here we are taking 3 because three-phase induction motor. So here we are having the equation. What equation we are having? We are having P2 equal to P in minus PSL. But we are saying mechanical power is nothing but the rotor power. Remaining power which will go to the rotor we are take as a mechanical power. So we can take here PM equal to P2 minus PCU. So here now our equation will become due to the rotating part of DC three-phase induction motor, you will get the power loss. That power loss we are saying as a PM, PML. This is nothing but the load power, mechanical power loss. So you can take P out equal to PM minus PM. So here we are having the efficiency. Efficiency, how we are denoting? If we are taking the ratio of output with respect to input. So here we are talking the efficiency in terms of power. So we can take output power upon input power. Rotor output upon rotor input. Rotor output will be mechanical power, PM. And rotor input will be the rotor input we are taking as a P2. So we can take that as a motor efficiency will be the mechanical output power that will get at the shaft. That will include rotor as well as the stator. And here we will give input to the, where we are giving the input, here we are giving the input to the stator. So here instead of P2 we are supposed to take PE. These equations you will be needed to solve numericals. When we are calculating rotor efficiency, you can talk about the rotor output and rotor input. But when we are supposed to find the efficiency of the motor, at that time, you are supposed to understand, we are supposed to take input power that we are giving to the stator. And we will get the output power at the shaft, not at the rotor, not at the stator. We will get output power at the shaft. So here we will only see the equations today. We will solve numericals tomorrow because we are having only 4 minutes. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday. No? We will have the lecture on the Thursday. So here, what we are saying, when we are calculating the power, at that time we are supposed to understand about the rotor power loss, the gross mechanical, the total power, and we are supposed to understand about the rotor input. So here, in general, in terms of torque and angular velocity, this equation we have seen in the DC motor also. We are taking PM equal to torque into angular velocity. So here we are saying we will get P equal to torque into angular velocity, W. But here we can write W in terms of 2 pi small n. That is nothing but rotation per second. But if we are study about the three-phase induction motor, here we are measuring the speed of rotor in the minute. So you can convert that. If you are taking instead of second, if you are taking in minute, you can write 2 pi capital N upon 60. So here, now we are having the torque equations of the power. How we will get power in the form of torque? Tg into, you will get for the stator, torque into Ws. Ws you can take 2 pi Ns upon 60. capital N is it is the speed of rotor, and capital N, yes, this is the speed of the stator. This equation for the power in terms of rotor, this equation power from stator to rotor. So here we are taking torque into 2 pi ns, the speed which will be because of the stator, upon 60. So here we can take gross mechanical power, that will be torque into 2 pi n upon 60. So here we will get the copper loss. Copper loss का equation क्या था हमारे पास? We are having P2 minus PM. So now we are having the value for P2. We are having the equations for PM. You can write, you will get the torque, copper power equal to torque into 2 pi upon 60 in bracket Ns minus N. These equations you will be needed to solve the numericals. Okay, so here, what we are saying here, but we will not finish this. Okay, this equation we will see again in the next class. If anyone is facing any issue, you can ask me. We will see these equations again in the next class. Okay. You guys can leave now. Thank you. We are concluding our today's session.